Stabilizing our finances allows us to move forward with clarity, with purpose, and focus on what matters most: student success.
Tonight at 5:30, our team coverage is moving ahead of Dr. Brian Yearwood's first State of the District address at JCPS.
He says the district is facing reality. He inherited a $188 million budget deficit and has had to close schools and order major layoffs.
Well, we begin at 5:30 with WHS 11's longtime education expert, Sam Corbett. You were there attending it in person. You've also been talking to employees still on the payroll there. Have these cuts already started at JCPS? What's the situation there?
Well, people are being notified that their job might be eliminated and they may need to reapply for another position. All of these changes will actually take effect on July 1. That's when their new fiscal year starts. So anybody that's currently there that's going through this process is technically going to be employed through the end of June.
All right. Sam, you were there today, as we just said. What were your takeaways from his speech and how people reacted to it? I mean, he did kind of start off with a joke, but it's probably true that people don't say hi to him anymore, that instead they say, hey, how's it going with the budget, or I'm praying for you.
Connie, I went into the speech very interested on how he was going to address the budget issue, because that obviously is the elephant in the room.
Right.
And as you said, to his credit, that's the first thing he started talking about. He addressed it right up front. I thought did a really good job. I've heard the superintendent speak since he's been here 4 or 5 times now, and I would suggest that today was as good as I've heard.
Those people you talk to who are working there, what's their salary range right now? What are they making, or are they on the target list? What are they zeroing in on at the moment?
Some of the people I talked to today at the luncheon are senior level people. Many of them are in the $200,000 range, which is the highest level other than the superintendent's salary. And they were telling me that their position is being changed, it's being eliminated, and that they're going to have to reapply for maybe the same position, but in some cases a different position that could be at a different pay scale.
We heard from the board member who did not vote for the cuts, who thought that they needed to get rid of some jobs that were more, central office, higher pay. And he seemed to like what the superintendent had to say and feeling good about it. So where do we take that? What did you take from that? Many
people think there are too many people within the central office who are making a fair amount of money, in some cases more than $100,000 a year. You all have done the research on the numbers who are at that level or above. I think a lot of those people, sounds like many of those people are facing their job elimination, being forced to reapply. And there were a lot of nervous people in that room today because they really don't know what the future holds.
Yearwood also confirmed something else that's happening at JCPS. More of the population base is moving away from some of the established schools. Here's what he said about the shift.
Louisville's population is shifting. We are seeing growth along the Bardstown Road corridor and on the far eastern edge of Jefferson County. And at the same time, we are experiencing population decline in the West End. This means our challenge is not simply growth or decline. Our challenge is geographically addressing where the change is occurring.
So they are putting new schools in West Louisville, but do you think that's a sign there that the shift is going to go to where the growth is now?
As part of the presentation, Dr. Yearwood put up a slide that showed Jefferson County, and it was broken down by different areas. And it showed those areas that have gained population and those areas that have lost population. And obviously the gains were all to the eastern part of the county, really running from north to south, which is where you would think in the future new schools are going to have to be located. Having said that, we've seen in the past JCPS make major investments into schools in West Louisville. Just several years ago, they spent $50 to $60 million on a major renovation of Shawnee High School. So it's a challenge. They're trying to be as equitable as possible, and they're dealing with not the kind of money that they need to really address the problem, which the superintendent also talked about.
Echo Trail is a good example of that out in the Middletown further area, and now kids having to go to Crosby because it's overcrowded already. It was just built.
Right.
Right there by the Parklands. Okay, thank you. Well, the honeymoon period is over, so that he will now be owning this reorganization plan.
People ask, well, when is he going to be held responsible, quote unquote? I would suggest that once this new plan goes into place, it's going to be his plan. And he's going to be accountable, good or bad, for the changes that are about to take place.
All right, thank you, Sam.